I was wrong about blog content, like very wrong. As an agency, I've been telling brands to stop writing random blogs. Then one format I thought was completely mediocre drove nearly 2,000 clicks between Google and LMs in less than 60 days. What changed wasn't actually our execution as an agency, it was search intent. And we caught it at the exact right moment while most brands were asleep at the wheel. This video breaks down the Shopify SEO growth hack that made us completely rethink our content strategy and why this specific type of page suddenly started crushing, and how we automated the entire process so that we can roll it out across multiple brands in early 2026. Let me show you the results first, and then I'll show you exactly how we built the page and how we're going to automate it. Let's start with the results. So here is a Google Search Console graph of the last 3 months. Actually, it's SEO Gits, but Search Console data, okay? First blogs were published and indexed on October 29th. You can see here, trending upwards to 108 clicks per day, just about 8,000 impressions per day, and an average position of 5.8. So pretty insane there. I mean, the growth looks like it's not stopping, and we've been at an average position of nearly 6 the entire time, which is pretty crazy. Looking at the top keywords: gifts for board game lovers, board games for teens, best board games for teens, Hanukkah games for kids, so on and so forth. Okay, this is all built for a puzzle board game brand. If you hadn't picked up on that yet, I'm going to show you like kind of how we thought about keyword creation and all that kind of stuff. Since then, also a 246% increase in LLM referral traffic. This is just in the last 30 days alone, and a lot of these blogs are among the top referred to / like trafficked pages out of LLMs. So pretty insane to see there. Now, I said I was wrong in the intro. I'm going to admit it again, and you won't hear me say that very often. I can promise you that. So as an agency, I said we weren't doing any more blog content that wasn't one of the following formats: competitor versus competitor alternatives, solution versus solution alternatives, ultimate FAQs, and buying guides. But I have to add one more: product roundups, which is what this case study is about. So these things crushed in this case study, and we're actually generalizing our workflow to roll it out to more brands. I am going to show you kind of the wireframe of how we built the article or built the page, and also how we, how we automated the entire creation process. So why did I change my mind? Easy. The results. When we started targeting, when we built the initial strategy and started targeting these keywords, looking at like best board games for best like gifts for board game lovers, best Hanukkah board games, best Christmas board games, things like that, I assumed, just based on my own knowledge and experience and history, that collection pages were going to be the page type we needed to create in order to target that. However, I was wrong. Someone on our team actually flagged it about a week after we kicked off with the brand. We'd actually pitched collection pages to the brand that was going to be the play. They agreed. Someone on our team caught the intent change and said, hey, we should actually create blogs for this. So we approached the brand and said, hey, same keywords, same playbook, just different looking page, basically, in the collections. Brand okayed it, and we started building an automated workflow because we had like 35 articles to publish all at once. So instead of like manually writing each one and just doing like 2-3 blogs a month, we're like, let's publish all 35 in the first month, just spend the first few days building a workflow, and then we'll be able to print them all pretty much at once, basically. We capitalized on a moment of changing search intent, exploiting a moment when most brands were asleep at the wheel. Admittedly, this strategy is working now. It's still working. We're doing it with other brands. However, I will say, like, this particular explosive case study, we had a little bit of timing on our side, to be frank. Looking like at other competitor result changes over the prior week or 2 weeks before we publish these, a lot of collection pages and product pages like totally dropped out of the rankings, and all of a sudden a bunch of listicles surfaced, and we were in at the right time. So it's kind of like a gold rush for listicles / product roundups. I'm going to use those two terms interchangeably. So the lesson: don't assume everything you know in SEO is true and true forever. This is also called Lindy's Law, right? Lindy's Law is, the longer something is true, the more likely it is to be true for that same amount of time in the future. Okay, paraphrasing, but that's kind of the general premise. Examples of this in SEO: helpful content update totally destroying media sites. Blog sites were obviously king beforehand. Now they're totally dead, right? December 2025 update. There's been a lot of fluctuation the last week and a half, and a lot of Search Console dashboards that I've seen. None of our clients have actually seen any volatility yet, so I haven't really pinned down what the kind of what's making sites go up or down based on the update. It seems to be related to blog content, potentially more AI overviews rolling out in like medical niches, but I've also seen some exact match keyword domains take big hits as well. So haven't really pinned down what that is yet. The point is, or last one, I guess, like other example is AI overviews rolling out to YMYL niches. This happened a couple like earlier this year, like Google rolling out AI overviews to more widespread medical YMYL queries, and basically took another basically chunk of traffic out of those sites. The point of the matter, all examples aside, is that no SEO strategy is safe forever, nor is it going to work forever. You should take calculated risks to exploit gaps and make money when you can. Now, before I get on to the how, just an example of this, like I thought collection pages were going to be the play because that's what had been working. Now, potentially I got a little confident, arrogant, but someone on our team did not, and they flagged that these should be blog articles instead, which is why I'm able to produce this case study in this video now. So, double check everything before you start. Like, don't just assume that what I say is like 100% fact whenever every single time in every single niche. Like, you need to verify in your own niche, verify with your own competitors, things like that, and then execute. So, on to the how. So, we automated the building of, like I said, 30 plus product roundup articles. We built the V1 in Sheets, which I'm going to show you kind of a very stripped down / redacted version of how we did it. We're rebuilding it now in Airtable for all of our clients for more automation ability / customization, as well as database access. All of our clients' URLs, scrape content, brand info, style guides, or all that is stored in Airtable, not in Sheets. So we wanted to build it in Sheets because it's a little bit faster to get it up and running for one brand. But now that we're going to roll it out to like all of our brands, it needs to be in Airtable. So how did it look like? So basically, again, this is a stripped down version. All the content is redacted, but I just want to show you guys like how we thought about it. The issue with a bunch of AI writing tools, like if you try to do this in like any AI writing tool, is it's going to hallucinate, first off, and two, it's probably not going to hit the same format you want, especially if you're going to write 30 at a time. So for us, we're looking at like multi-step chain prompting. Like we wanted to basically hit the max, like near max amount of tokens for a single prompt output, and then move on to the next set of prompts. So basically we took like every section of the article and broke it down to a unique prompt. So, example, like best strategy board games is the target keyword. We inputted the 10 products per article. I just showed you 3 here, but you would repeat this for 4 through 10 as well. Product URL, product 1 URL, product 1 H1. So basically pulled out the URL and the H1. We scraped that with a perplexity model, I think Sonar. And again, we repeated that through products 2 through 10. Then we pulled out in Sonar, using perplexity Sonar as well, we pulled it out, the description basically of the product URL page, and then hybridized it. Basically rewrote the product description of each product to make sense in the context of the target keyword. Every product description was kind of generalized around like, just the game itself and obviously like for conversion rate and stuff, but we wanted to obviously tailor it to like best strategy board games or best Christmas board games. So basically we took the existing description, rewrote it to fit target keyword. Okay, we did that for products 1 through 10 as well. We then merged it all. We then wrote an intro paragraph based on all of the merged output. Okay, obviously you guys know what an intro paragraph is. I'm not going to hash that out any further. Key takeaway section, also based on final output, appended at the beginning of the article above the intro section. You guys know what that looks like. What to look for in buying the target keyword. We generated this with a custom prompt. I'm not sharing the prompt, but what to look for in buying the best board games for Christmas. You can come up with a prompt for that yourself, or you can meta prompt, which is what we did. How to choose the target keyword. Again, how to choose the best board games for Christmas, for example. Again, generate the custom prompt. Other best board games for Christmas to check out, right? So the product roundup / listicle was like 1 through 10, all of our products, okay? We didn't include any of the brands on the list. However, we did include them in this section, right? So like, for example, like, I don't know, Monopoly, Catan, like whatever board games you can think of, like we used a prompt to generate these. And then we had an FAQ section, also generated with a custom prompt. And then Google Doc URL, we used app script to basically combine all of this output together, put it in a Google Doc, generate a Google Doc URL, put all this content in a Google Doc, and then we used a webhook to push it to Airtable. Now, this is again very stripped down. I'm not sharing all the prompts, but like this is how we thought about it and how like we kind of think about like all of our content automations and workflows. We don't use any AI writing tools at our agency. We built every single prompt and workflow in-house because it gives us maximum control of the inputs, which gives us almost in every single case better output. So that is how we automated it and how you could think about it too. Now, what they look like. So here's a basic wireframe of what this would look like. Okay. So I just chose like the keyword like best gifts for board game lovers. Okay, which is actually an article we created. Key takeaway section, you know what that looks like. Intro section, you know what that looks like. Okay. H2 is again like basically the inverse or like another version of the target keyword. Best board game lover gifts. And then H3, there are 10 H3s, okay? Each one of them, the H3 is product 1, literally the H1 of the product, which we pulled out using Perplexity, and then appended that in the article. We used a product image, which we pulled in manually from VAs, but I'm pretty sure you can do it. You could definitely do it probably with a webhook, pulling out the image URL, like the main product image URL out of Shopify. We did this with a VA, but we're probably going to automate this part, like I said, when we do it at scale, because it's going to take way some time for VAs to pull in images for all these articles. I mean, there's like 300 images across like the 30 plus blogs we created. So like that was just a bit time consuming. But again, hybridized version of the product description, modified, tailored to match the target keyword of the article. So like think like 100 words, 150 words per product. And then a call to action, which is like add to cart or shop the product, for example. Add to cart is probably, depends on the ticket price of your item, like the product price. If you've got a low ticket product, people are probably comfortable shopping or adding it to cart directly from the article. If it's a little bit higher ticket, like 50 or more, maybe 100 or more USD, you'll probably want to have them go to the actual page itself because they're going to want way more product info before they actually add it to cart. Okay. Anyway, play around with those. You can split test them however you please. And again, H3, like number 2 and 3 and 4, just repeat all the way through product 10. Or if you decide to do 15, like that's fine too. You can do 20 for all I care. We did 10 because that's what we were limited to by SKU count. Now, we also had H2 section, which is what to look for when buying the target keyword. So again, what to look for when buying the best board game gifts for, or best board games for board game lovers, or whatever the keyword was. And then again, content output based on a prompt we chose, and then how to choose the best gifts for board game lovers, and then other gifts for board game lovers to check out, which is like other gifts generated, like I said, Monopoly and Catan, right? Then FAQs, again, we generated these with AI. Probably going back, we would probably use like data4seo.com's API, or like also ask the API to generate better FAQs. So we'll probably do that in the future. All right, let's get back here. And what does this mean for 2026? So as I said, this is a one-off build and one-off case study. We did in Sheets. We're pushing it onto Airtable to basically build a more generalized but no less effective version of the workflow. The goal is for us to be able to just add all the product URLs scraped from the sitemap or from Search Console into our database in Airtable, add all the product roundup target keywords we want to target into that same database. So like in this case, like let's say like a makeup brand or a beauty brand, for example, like we'll add all the products they sell, and then all its target keywords would be like, best beauty products for anti-aging, best Korean beauty products for anti-aging, best moisturizers for, women over 50, whatever it will be, right? As many as we can possibly generate, or keywords, as many keywords as we can possibly find. And then ideally we can just generate the articles with a click of a button, which I'm pretty certain we can do. As crazy as that sounds, I'm pretty certain we can get to that level of automation with all of our, with Make and Zapier, Zapier and AppScript and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be great, because ideally we can produce like 100 articles at a time once we have the keywords and the product URLs, which we will have. We'll edit the articles with our content team, but the automated workflow is going to make us 10 times as fast, right? We won't have to ideally do as much QA in the building process, and we could just do the QA and internal linking and stuff after the fact. We will be using this same workflow in 2026 for all of our brands, especially brands with bigger SKUs, like a bigger SKU catalog, let's say, alongside our other main tactics: collection page optimization and creation, backlink building, internal linking, competitor comparisons, key takeaway sections, product page FAQs, ultimate FAQ pages, Reddit commenting for LLM seeding, and all that good stuff. So excited to see what this rolls out, or how this rolls out to other brands, and I'm really hoping to share more case studies with you guys, specifically related to this content type.